Okay. Okay, the time is approximately 6 p.m. on October 9th, excuse me. The November 2023 Farragut Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting will begin. Are we waiting on Mr. White? Is he out in the parking lot?
I've not heard from him.
You've not heard from him? Okay. Do what? Nothing? Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and online. I want to thank you for your presence at tonight's Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. My name is Ron Williams, the fourth elected mayor of town of Farragut. We appreciate that each of you has taken time from your busy schedules to either attend or view tonight's meeting to see how our town government works. All Farragut Board of Mayor and Alderman meetings are public notice per Tennessee state law. Our Farragut meetings can be seen live on Charter Channel 193 and on TDS Channel 3, as well as on Farragut YouTube channel and our website. All board meetings are recorded and can be viewed at a later date on the mentioned locations. If you're in attendance, you should be able to pick up a copy of tonight's agenda at the door when you came in. If you were not able to attend tonight and you're viewing from your home, then the agenda is available online at our website. For those in attendance that would like to speak, please pick up a blue card at the door and write your name and agenda item that you wish to speak on the card, and turn it in. Please turn it in to the town recorder. There will also be time reserved at the end of the meeting for citizens' comments on non-agenda subjects, which also requires that you fill out a blue card with the citizens' comments as the time that you wish to speak. On each agenda item, the mayor will ask the town recorder for residents' input. During this item, or this time, any Farragut resident wishing to speak to the board on that specific item may do so for up to 5 minutes. After being recognized by the mayor, please go to the podium microphone in order to be heard and viewed by all. To conduct efficient and business-like meetings, the town has adopted rules for how its meetings will be conducted. Primarily, these rules are designed to keep the meeting moving and assure that all points of view are heard and considered, and to provide a common courtesy to everyone attending. We ask that you observe the established meeting rules when addressing the board. At the beginning of your presentation, please state your name and address for the record. We ask that you address all your questions to the mayor. In his absence, the vice mayor. Do not direct questions of the alderman or to the staff members. If necessary, the mayor may call on the alderman or staff members concerning your question or comments. Once you've given your input, please return to your seat so we can continue. We ask that every speaker avoid the use of improper language, profanity, or any other inappropriate conduct that addresses issues not only and not individuals or personalities with malicious comments. Speakers should strive to avoid redundancy and should have their own original viewpoints. Please stay on topic on that particular agenda item. We're here tonight to do the people's business. It's a very important responsibility for all of us. Okay, we will start tonight's meeting with a roll call for a quorum prior to standing for a prayer, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to this country's, to our country's flag, which will be held tonight by Drew Burnett.
Alderman Burnett.
Here.
Alderman Meyer.
Here.
Alderman White is absent. Vice Mayor Pavlin.
Here.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams here.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any agenda amendments tonight?
No, sir.
None? If none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
If in favor of approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Any noes? Let the record show that the agenda has been approved as posted. Approval of the minutes. Any amendments to the minutes?
No, sir.
If none, I'll ask a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, if in favor of approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Okay, let the record show that the minutes have been approved as posted. On the mayor's report, to start with, I want to thank all the 2023 Intro to Farragut class for their involvement in the program this year. The education provided by this program is the foundation for all of our volunteer committees, and we sure do appreciate your attendance. And next will be someone that I have invited to talk about a new program that Knox County has. And Larson, if you want to come up.
Thank you, Mayor. There we go. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Alderman. Appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to the folks here in the town of Farragut. My name is Larson J. I'm a Knox County Commissioner, and I serve in the at-large commission seat of Seat 10. I'm proud to represent everyone here in Farragut and everyone all the way to Coreyton, South Knox, Hardin Valley, Fountain City, or wherever you may be in Knox County. I'm here to just say thank you for your first year support, and then also promote to the residents of Farragut the second year of our Junior Commissioner program. Several years ago, in our last county election, I was incredibly dismayed when I saw the voting participation results, where 1 in 10 registered voters showed up for our primaries, 2 in 10 showed up to participate in our general, and only 4 in 10 showed up for our national elections. And as evidenced by even the results in the city of Knoxville, voting participation continues to go down and down and down. I think the town of Farragut is quite the opposite, in which your participation is getting increased, and I applaud you for that. But as I was definitely dismayed by how little people were, participation was being involved in our electoral process. At the same time, I was visiting many of our local high schools, and the more I interacted with some of the juniors and seniors that are rising stars in this community, I was more and more impressed in how much they were interested in local government, interested in impact, and interested in what they could do to kind of make a difference in their own hometown. And I think the word impact is important, because the generation that I have experienced that are about to graduate, that is what their commodity is. It's what is my place in the world, what is my impact in the world. It's not as much of the social media, it's not as much of the commodities and sort of the stuff that the last couple generations were. It's what can I do to make a difference. And so with all of that, at a little bit of frustration, but sometimes frustration comes with an opportunity. I talked to my colleagues, and we started last year the Junior Commissioner program, where we said, let's find that next generation that may turn the tide of participation in their local government and our local civic leaders, and engage them in a unique program. Obviously, youth leadership programs are not new or not unique, but we had a model for something that hadn't been done in Knox County before. And so we started the Junior Commission program, and we launched it last year, where we asked juniors and seniors from across Knox County, whether they be in public, private, or parochial schools, to apply to be a junior commissioner and walk alongside us for a period of months. The goal of it is to establish a youth civics leadership program, open it up to high school juniors and seniors, and to engage students with a unique opportunity to foster civic engagement, promote a healthy citizenry habits, and to promote, of course, the importance of public service. And so we started the program not knowing what the response would be. We designed it to happen in the winter months. Fall is always busy getting back to school. Of course, lots of sports, lots of activities, lots of holidays. Spring, by the time you get past spring break, is just a rush through the spring and sports and graduation. So we kind of found a sweet spot of January, February, and March to engage them for a strong 3-month process, really an immersive process. We opened up our applications. We designed the entire program, quite frankly, to be very user-friendly and to be designed that you can engage on a phone. And so we sort of embraced this is where this generation is, and the technology created an online application system, asked several sort of open-ended essay questions that they could tell us why they wanted to be a junior commissioner, what was in their community that they wanted to see change, find different ways that we could see what their interest level was. Each commissioner picked their own out of the applicants. And of course, the applicants had to decide, did I want to be the junior commissioner for my district, or did I want to apply for one of the two at-large positions that represent the whole county? And they couldn't do both, which was a challenge in itself. But they came to really surprise us right off the bat. We didn't know. We have 11 positions. We thought, geez, if we get 20 applications, we'll be great the first year. I think we got over 75 applications the first year, and ultimately we chose. I don't know. Maybe that camera can see, and I'll supply you with a picture. But we chose a great first class of junior commissioners that did represent public, private, and parochial, and a homeschool, accredited homeschool program as well. Great young minds that were eager. They participated in the program. We put them through the paces of orientation and a government 101. We created an oath and swore them in as junior commissioners, if you will. And we had them, go through the whole process of what we do as elected representatives. By the second month, we engaged them even further. We had them come on stage and sit next to us and go through the agenda and talk about stuff. I had forgotten to kind of prompt them about what to do and not to do that particular night, and all of a sudden their lights came on and they wanted to chime in, and we thought, oh my gosh, here we go, and it was great, and they were young and energetic, but they were also meaningful in learning about the issues and really forcing us to think in a different perspective. We put them through zoning issues and helped them understand how important land use is. We even created a mock agenda where we took other issues from previous months, and they had to run their own meeting, and we got to play the citizenry, and I got to play the angry neighbor, and somebody else had to play the government representative, and somebody else got to play the advocate, and they had to decide, how do they run their own government for a short amount of time. And then they went through this whole progress program, and also went out with us as commissioners into the community, went to things like town halls and ribbon cuttings and constituent services, cleanup days, saw what we did kind of in the community on a day-to-day basis, and then graduated from program. We had a banquet. We had a way to engage their families and to come in and to also learn more about Knox County government. And it was a great success, and we will be doing it again. And that's really my purpose here tonight, is to sort of seed it, if you will. We're about to do a heavy promotion that at the beginning of December, we will open up applications again. It is open to any junior or senior in Knox County, a Knox County resident. It could be a public, private, or parochial school or accredited homeschool program. We'll open up those application processes, and we want everybody to encourage juniors and seniors who are interested in government, civic leadership, in their community to apply and to try to get one of those coveted 11 spots. And at the end of the program, we did a bunch of surveys from them to sort of say, how did we do? Most of them wanted more. They thought it was too short. They wanted more interaction, more homework, and thought it was exceptionally valuable. A couple of the key survey results was, one of the quotes was, the talking to your representatives is a lot more accessible than people might think. And I think they understood that you may disagree, you may not know how it all works, but here we are, here you are, here is the citizenry, and the ability to engage with your elected officials is far closer here than anywhere else. Some said they helped me understand how local government impacts our everyday lives, and they realize the importance of local government in our community and how many issues in our community are solvable with the collaboration of constituents and lawmakers. And one of the best quotes that we got at the end of the program was from a young lady who said, I now know how local legislation can impact the community in a way that is not available to higher office. We all tend to yell and scream at the national news and even the state level and say, how in the world, can you not figure this out? But it's really here. It's here in this room. It's here in this community where we can figure things out. We can work together. And I'm thrilled that they were able to understand that. We actually asked them at the end of the survey, would you ever consider, after this experience as a junior commissioner, running for public office for one day? We had 4 of our participants say, yes, I can't wait to serve. We had 6 say, maybe I'd consider it. And we had 1 that said, no way, you guys are crazy. And so clearly they understand how the role of a public official and how hard it can be one day. And the most thing I'm most proud of, since that, I have given a presentation at the Tennessee County Commissioners Association meeting and our conference. I also gave a webinar to the National Association of Counties. And we put this whole thing into a kit that is really a how to create your own junior commissioner program. We gave it away, all the work, all the effort, literally every document, every resolution, the whole schedule. And currently 7 Tennessee counties have that kit and are working on their own program, and then 9 counties across the country, including ones in Oregon, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Kansas, Florida, West Virginia, and Alabama are also using the kit to build their own program. And I continue to get calls and emails to send it out and to other counties. I'm thrilled to give it away to anybody that would like to have it. Ultimately, the junior commissioner program, if it does nothing else, it will take a generation that has been so far removed from government and so overlooked and say, this is accessible to you, to your family, to your parents. Get involved, get to know your elected officials. You can nudge this community if you get involved. If you show up, you can nudge this community. You just have to participate. So that's the junior commissioner program. I'll send out the information once it goes live. It'll be about the beginning of December. And I hope that everybody in Farragut will take the time to encourage someone to apply so that your next junior commissioner can make you proud. And I appreciate the time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larson. Okay. Next will be the Vice Mayor's report.
I just want to remind everyone, Knox County Schools is hosting 3 community listening sessions regarding the new school. The school board discussed the potential opportunities during its quarterly work session held on October 26th. The community listening sessions will be held on the following dates and locations. All meetings begin at 5:30 p.m. November 28th at Farragut High School, November 30th at Farragut Primary School, and December 5th at Farragut Middle School. Please consider attending one of those if you want to have an opinion expressed on the new school.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have anything to?
Sorry, Mayor.
That's okay, Dave. We'll wait you have a seat and get settled. Ready? Okay, great. Okay, tonight we only have one ordinance to review, public hearing. It will be on the first reading. Be ordinance 23-16, ordinance to amend the Farragut zoning ordinance to address buffer strip requirements where an adjacent property is shown as non-residential on the future land use map.
Okay, I'm Mark Shipley. I'll present this item. During discussion with the Planning Commission, staff noted that this would be an amendment to the C1 zoning district, the buffer strip requirements. So where you have properties that are currently zoned residential or agricultural, this amendment would provide the Planning Commission with the opportunity to evaluate buffer requirements if that particular property was shown as a non-residential land use on the future land use map. Because it probably is shown as that because it's either surrounded by commercial development or it's on a major arterial road. So it really just, this ordinance provides language that would give the Planning Commission the opportunity to consider the context to evaluate whether and the degree to which a buffer strip would be required. It does not relieve an applicant from providing buffering, and the Planning Commission may evaluate the situation and say that we don't want to change the buffering at all. But it does give the Planning Commission the opportunity to consider the context for those type of situations and modify the buffering. The staff at the workshop session with the Planning Commission in September, we put together some draft language that's in Ordinance 23-16. The Planning Commission was receptive to that. They unanimously recommended approval of this ordinance at their meeting in October. And the staff recommends approval of Ordinance 23-16 on first reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, do we have resident comments
No,
on
sir.
this one? We do not. Okay, discussion, start with the Vice Mayor.
I have nothing.
Alderman Burnett,
I think it makes sense. No questions.
Alderman White,
No, sir.
Alderman Meyer.
Pass.
Okay, I didn't have anything on this either. So with discussion completed, I'll now ask for a roll call vote.
Alderman Burnett.
Yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Yes.
Alderman White.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pavlin. Yes. Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that the motion to approve 23-16 has been approved on the first reading by roll call vote. Okay, next we have one item to review and consider for approval as far as a business item, and it will be approval of speed cushions for traffic calming on St. John's Court in Prestwick Place subdivision.
I'm Eric Schindler, and I'll be presenting this item. This agenda item involves the proposed installation of 3 sets of speed cushions on St. John Court. On January 29th, 2021, the town of Farragut received a traffic calming application from residents along St. John Court in the Prestwick Place subdivision. The town's engineering department conducted a series of speed studies within the speed zone, and the study resulted in indications of excessive speeding, and excessive speeding is defined as an 85th percentile speed of greater than 10 miles an hour over the posted speed limit, and the posted speed limit on St. John Court is 25 miles per hour. The speed studies were conducted at 638 St. John Court, 710 St. John Court, and St. John Court at O'Connell, and the speeds were 39.9 miles per hour, 32.5 miles per hour, and 27.6 miles per hour, respectively, for the 85th percentile speed, with 39.9 miles per hour being at 638 St. John Court. A public meeting was held August 9th, 2023. Those in attendance were supportive of implementing traffic calming measures in that area. As far as the voting, there were 13 ballots mailed out. 11 were received. All 11 of those voted in favor of traffic calming devices, so 100% of the ballots received were in favor. On October 19th, 2023, this was presented to the Planning Commission, who unanimously voted to recommend approval of installing the speed cushions at all 3 locations. The traffic team proposes installation of speed cushions at the approximate location of 614 St. John Court, or location 1 on the map, 632 St. John Court, location 2, and 704 St. John Court, location 3, just northwest of the crosswalk. A total of 4 speed cushions will be installed at each location due to the existence of a center turn lane. Work to be performed by the town's on-call speed cushion installation contractor as their schedule permits.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have resident comments on this?
No, sir.
None, okay. We'll start off with Alderman Meyer.
I think the 40 miles per hour at the 85th percentile creates a hostile environment for these folks to live in, and I support 100% the cushions.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Burnett?
Yeah, I'm in support of the cushions. If I'm being honest, I think 3 is excessive in this area, but I don't live there, and they voted, and they like it, so I'm good with it, but I do think 3 is a lot. And I'd be interested to see, after we finish the next 12 months of the new policy, where we've taken out resident feedback for anyone that lives around, how that's going, because this is a one-way in, one-way out with a lot of homes hitting 3 speed bumps in a very short span. But overall, I'm in support, but those are some general thoughts.
Okay, Vice Mayor?
I'm in support.
Alderman White?
No, sir. I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Okay. I'm in favor of it for the reasoning of safety. And I think one of the reasons that 11 people, we got 11 back and 11 people voted for them, and I think their main concern was safety. We have a lot going on over there. There is a lot of houses that it affects overall, but that area right there where people, where it's happening is right in front of their front door. So with discussion completed, I'll ask that if in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any noes? Let the record show that the request has been approved. Okay. And Alderman White, we did approve the agenda, November 9th agenda, and also the meetings for October 26th. Okay. Next will be a citizens forum.
We have a few speakers tonight.
Two?
A few.
Oh, I was going to say, all these people, and we only have two? Okay, let's get started then.
All right, our first one is John Ford at 12516 Willow Cove Way.
Okay.
John Ford, 12516 Willow Cove Way. I live about a mile and a half from McPhee Park. My family moved into the house we live in 1994. We've enjoyed Farragut. It's a great place to live. And the parks are one of the most desirable features of the community. In the summertime, I go up to McPhee Park some, and I notice the splash pad is just full of people. It's packed. It's being enjoyed. And probably the second most used facility is the pickleball courts. And it's probably the favorite of the senior citizens or retired people in the community. Younger people are picking up pickleball, but right now, seniors are really benefiting from it. You give seniors a way to get out and get active and socialize, which is very important. There's studies that show that being active and socializing adds years to older people's lifespans. I know that it can be noisy. Pickleball is somewhat noisy from the paddle hitting the ball and also from the laughter and the friendly banter that goes on. And I hope it isn't the laughter and friendly banter that's disturbing people. Another complaint is that it's continuous. And I have to question this at McPhee Park. During the summer, I would go up there often in the middle of the day, say from 11 a.m. to 4, just to check on it. And there'd be nobody on the courts. That was almost always the case. Nobody playing in the summer in the heat. I went by there today on my way home. At 4:40, I drove through the park. There was not a single person on the tennis court or the pickleball courts on a beautiful evening. So I question how continuous it is. I was a long-time tennis player, but a couple of years ago I got introduced to pickleball. While I was playing tennis one day a week, now I'm playing pickleball 4 or 5 days a week for 1.5 to 2 hours. I started at the Farragut Community Center 2 winters ago when it opened up and met a lot of people there. I claim I have 30 new friends in the last 2 years. Many of them are sitting here in the black shirts. And we have a good time. We really enjoy it. And when McPhee Park opened, we moved from the community center to the park. That was great to be able to get outside and play. So this is a growing sport. New parks are being built. Lakeshore Park is adding pickleball courts. Tellico Village added some courts in the last year, including some covered courts with a hard roof for shade. So this is happening. It's what seniors need. It's what community people need. It's really a benefit to this community. And I just hope that Farragut will capitalize on this, utilize the courts that exist, add more if you can. If you build them, people will come.
Our next speaker is Roger Starrett at 1147 Bishop's View.
Mayor and Alderman, thank you for allowing us a time to present our concerns. My name is Roger Starrett. I live at 1147 Bishop's View Lane. This is a 12-step program. I'd say, hi, my name's Roger, and I'm a pickleball addict. I've been playing pickleball for about 2 years. All of it, like John, I started at the Farragut Community Center and moved over to the McPhee Park. What a beautiful, world-class courts that we've put in. I'm also an administrator of one of the social apps that collects all of these people. We try to organize times to meet together. We have north of 75 people that play together off and on at various times. Up until 3 weeks ago when I had a knee replacement, I was playing 3 to 4 times a week myself, and just have met some wonderful dear friends. And it's been great for keeping me active and keeping us all active, as John said prior. I'm also the COO of a large manufacturing company with a global footprint. That's what I do in the daytime now. And I'm also an HOA president of the community that I live in. So I deal with some difficult challenges. Regularly, we face what feels like insurmountable problems, and we come up with solutions that are workable and meet the needs of as many people as possible. To those of us, I have to put myself in that, to those of us who have had some reconstructive surgeries, pickleball is a great opportunity to get active. It's a very low-cost sport to get in. It's been excellent rehab to a number of my friends who are ahead of me in knee surgery and hip replacements and the things that we talk about now as we get a little older in life. But it is up and coming and will become more and more popular. Recently, the Knox County schools brought all of their PE instructors together just last week and taught them how to teach pickleball to kids because it's that popular. So while we're all looking for court time, I can see this becoming even more and more of a challenge. We'll need more courts, not less. There is noise associated with pickleball. And in retrospect, we probably didn't do the due diligence required when we picked where we're going to put that pickleball court. But it isn't a final, it isn't a either we have it or we don't have it solution. There are many, many companies. We're not the first community to be addressing pickleball noise issues. There's many companies out there that specialize in, specifically in pickleball noise abatement. And it is a concern, we recognize it, and we want to be sensitive to those, our neighbors, and work with them. But I urge us just to take the path of a viable solution and not just say no. We've got to have a solution that addresses the needs of pickleball players and our neighbors, our residents over there. So let's really go to the table. We encourage you to go to the table and look for a solution that will meet both of the needs of the pickleball players and our residents there. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Tammy McKinney at 11534 Boston Ivy.
I really don't have a lot to say since Roger and John spoke because I don't want to just keep, saying the same things over and over. The one thing that I will add to it is I moved to the community 7 years ago, and I knew absolutely nobody in Knoxville. And it's a lonely thing at our age to move in your 50s. You don't have your kids to follow around to sporting events and sitting on the bleachers. That's how you meet a lot of your friends as you get older. And my dad had been wanting me to play this game called pickleball, and I'd been putting him off, and finally when I went home to Kentucky to visit one weekend, he got me to play pickleball, and I loved it. And I came back to Knoxville and immediately started Googling where can I play pickleball in Knoxville, and that's how I ended up meeting most of these lovely people in the room at Farragut Community Center. And, it's just a passion of mine, or my husband might say an obsession of mine. And, we love the sport. We don't want to cause, disturbances to people that live up on the hill. That's definitely not our intention. It's, the biggest growing sport. And though we know that it's not the job of the municipalities to put every sport out there for people to play, this is the fastest, growing sport there is, and this is what communities are looking for. People come from on vacations, and there's an app that they get on to see where they can go play. They show up at McPhee to play with us sometimes. It's something we look for when we go on vacations now. And just wanted to add that and hope that you all will, try and find a solution where we can have our pickleball courts.
Our next speaker is Linda Anderson at 1162 Blackstone Lane.
I'm short. I have to put the microphone down. I'm Linda Anderson. I live at 1162 Blackstone View Lane. I'm also the HOA president for our association. Thank you for being available to listen to our concerns and questions tonight. I've been playing pickleball for about 2.5 years. I started about the same time everybody here started, right after the pandemic. Farragut Community Center and the Senior Center opened up and started having pickleball lessons and pickleball things, and we all got started playing with that. McPhee Park was built. It's a beautiful park. And all of a sudden there was a place to play outside, because to tell you the truth, there's only 2 courts at Farragut Community Center, and there were 35 and 40 of us showing up to play. Well, I don't know how you think we managed to do that, but we managed to do that when that was all we had. Having the 8 courts at McPhee left us able to actually be able to play, and for a lot of people to play. They mentioned that there's an app that has 78 people. I actually administer 3 apps that have a total of almost 150 people on those 3 apps of people looking to play pickleball at different place in the community. So we're just struck by the now seems like with limited conversation and with limited community input and with really no attempt that we know of to find alternate solutions, the courts are being taken away from us. I guess all of you know 4 of them have been closed, and there's conversation about closing the other 4. At a time when pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the world, we are being told that there will be nowhere for us to play in the town of Farragut because we don't have to be provided for. Pickleball has grown rapidly due to a couple of reasons. There are low barriers to enter the sport. It's cheap. It takes only ordinary athletic ability. It can be played by all regardless of age, bad knees, replaced hips, sore shoulders. But I also see families and their young kids out there playing regularly. Teenagers, they were on the court last night. It's everybody playing now. It's not just us old folks. It is an easy game to learn to play with varying skill levels and varying abilities, all being able to embrace this sport. But there's another piece to it too. There is social and emotional bonding that happens on the pickleball court. It's hard to explain how this sense of community and friendship forms, but it is unique to this sport, and I have never in all of my life's activities experienced anything like it. I never knew any of these people until 2 years ago, and now I know them all, plus another 100 probably. It's amazing how fast that happens on the pickleball court. That's something that should not be ignored. There are new players entering the courts daily. The city of Farragut provides free lessons. We felt we were welcomed and encouraged, and now we are questioning whether we are welcomed at all. So what do we want from you all? We're making the following request: that no further negative actions be taken without a chance for public comment, that if a sound study has not been undertaken, that there should be one commissioned. If one has been taken, we would like to see the results of it. That until further plans can be made, that all courts be returned to use, and that we be involved in the discussion of how to help mitigate some of the noise and use issues that are there. That the town's vision for how to handle the growing demands of the pickleball population be discussed and formulated so that the town of Farragut can continue to provide exemplary, forward-looking recreational opportunities for its citizens of all ages, gender, income levels, and athletic abilities. We realize that some of the residents in the hills above the court are being stressed by the playing noises. We are very supportive of finding solutions other than us being removed. We know that other towns are facing the same kind of questions, and we want to be part of the solution with the town of Farragut. Pickleball is here to stay, and a plan for inclusion needs to be made. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Wayne Jones, 11441 Bancroft.
I'm Wayne Jones, 11441 Bancroft Lane.
He moves a lot faster than that on the pickleball court.
No. I'll put it this way. I've been playing pickleball for 7 years. I'm 76 years old. I started playing pickleball after having a stroke. Thank goodness for pickleball. It got me moving, got me out of the house, got away from the honey-do list, and everything was good. But, you know, pickleball, as has been shared with you, over 150 people on different rosters to play pickleball. I get up in the morning, I go play pickleball, weather permitting. That's what it's all about. Pickleball's social aspect is enhanced by its inclusion nature. In other words, everybody can play it. I play with men and women, 18 to 80. They're all out there for the same thing, to engage their social life and get a little bit of exercise. So the general pickleball people can play pickleball, learn pickleball, in about 2 hours. And the equipment is not expensive. So pickleball is, there on a survey in 2023, there were 35 million Americans playing pickleball. Average age of 35 years old. That's 14% of the adult population in the United States are playing pickleball. And so it is very important that we all realize that, as we shared before, pickleball is the third, that has been for the last 3 years, has been the fastest growing sport in the United States. As we shared, the school systems are now encouraging and showing kids how to play pickleball. The community center, the classes are full. Pellissippi Community College, the pickleball courses are full. You know, the need and desire to have access to pickleball courts will only increase, not decrease. Early on, before McPhee was put in, I had a conversation with one of my neighbors, and he was saying, pickleball courts are coming around. I said, great. What are they going to do? He said, well, there's been discussion that they're going to make a complex. So there'll be a revenue generator, not only for the community, but that Farragut can have a revenue generator to have tournaments and stuff like this. Well, the idea is good, but that seems to be restricted. So, and also, I would just like to say that pickleball, not only from a socialized standpoint and a sports standpoint, the health benefits of coordination, walking and talking, you know, that's what it's all about for us. So pickleball is a big part of our lives, and you guys will dictate how that life proceeds. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Nancy Rivaz at 1228 Ainsley Court.
Thank you, Mayor and Alderman, for this opportunity. An email came to our attention from one of the aldermans, David White, and it said, it started out, and I'd just like to give our side of the response to what he said. It said, "It is not responsibility of any municipality to provide every form of recreation that can be thought of. Pickleball is not one of them." Now, what I would like to say to that, it's not Frisbee golf that we're talking about. This is the largest, like they've said, the largest growing sport in the world right now. And it is beneficial for our community to have that. The next thing he said was, it has totally changed the peace and harmony of the residents near McPhee Park. Now, we know the way the courts are situated, there's nothing behind it. There's no houses on the other side. There's no houses across. Well, you have to go a large lot of land and then houses across the street. The only houses that are being affected are a few houses that back up to the pickleball courts, back up to the area that is near the pickleball courts, and it's 5 to 6 maximum houses. You would be making a decision, which you already have, taking 4 courts away, that directly affects hundreds of people in the community for the sake of a few people in the community. Now, I do feel for the homeowners that have to hear the sound, that have put a pool and a jacuzzi in their backyard. But they also built and bought that house, and I hate to say it, next to a park that was in the process of being developed. So that was just the chance you take when you do that. You also said planting trees will not fix it, dividing tennis courts will not fix it. Well, this sounds very uncompromising to me and sort of kind of my way or the highway. It kind of makes us feel like we're not being cared for, the community of pickleball players in Farragut, which is a large number. As you can tell, I'm very nervous. We've already maxed out, like they said, with every other facility. There's no place for us to go except for this area. And we love that area. It's beautiful. We were out there playing the other night. Geese went flying by over. It was just gorgeous in the sense that we like to be outside. I know when we mentioned this to Ron at Rexon Park and Rex, he said, well, you can always go to the indoor courts. Well, we don't want to go to the indoor courts. It's beautiful out there. And it's a beautiful facility that you all made that we want to enjoy. We feel like it was built, and we heard that it was built and granted for a dual purpose, and that was for pickleball and tennis. And that was one of the reasons why maybe you got the grant for the money. I mean, maybe I misunderstood that, is because it was a dual purpose. It could reach out to more people in the community, which it has. You also said, let's do the right thing for the citizens around McPhee Park, and the only thing that will fix this is to put tennis courts back to tennis courts only and totally eliminate pickleball in McPhee Park. Well, like I said before, these were never just tennis courts. When they were built and designed, they were lined for pickleball and tennis. They weren't tennis first and then changed over to pickleball. That was their intention when they put them there. And like they said, maybe that wasn't the the best location. I didn't mean that in a bad way. But it is what it is, and we do enjoy those facilities. And with the skyrocketing interest in pickleball, it makes no sense that the majority of the community has this taken away from us. And we ask that they reopen all the courts for their intended purpose. That's what they were intended for. I close with a quote that you said, Mr. White, when you were running for election for alderman. You said, I'm sick of arbitrarily changing zoning to accommodate one and not to accommodate another. Thank you for finding that, Bernadette.
Thank you.
I feel that we are arbitrarily or that you are arbitrarily trying to change a decision that was already made, money was granted for, and courts were built with for pickleball and tennis.
Mr. Reyes, we got a lot to talk about. A lot of people
Okay.
talking that, so you need to stop.
That's it. I was at the end anyway, so I appreciate you listening.
Our next speaker is David Cutlett at 824 Farragut Commons. Or maybe it's Catlett. Okay. I'm sorry? No, it says David. Well, somebody signed you up. Somebody signed you up then.
Yes, my name is David Catlett. I live at Farragut Commons. I've been there about 7 or 8 years. Been in Knoxville all my life. Graduated from the University of Tennessee. And like most people here, I started playing pickleball about 2 years ago. I played tennis. Now I quit playing tennis and I play pickleball. But I wanted to commend all these speakers that came up and explained the pickleball. And the other thing is, I notice there might be some people here that don't play pickleball that aren't clapping, and I suspect those are the ones that live near the courts. Now, they might be, and I've seen those houses there, they're nice houses, maybe 5 at the top of the hill. There are 5 houses there, and if you go in the backyard, they could probably hear the pickleballs hitting, and maybe people laughing, a lot of laughter going on. So you got 5 people that live in nice houses. They say, hey, do away with this pickleball stuff. We don't hear it. And you got 150 people that love to play pickleball. And as I said, it is the fastest growing sport in America. So it doesn't seem fair to me that you make a decision for 5 people that maybe can go to the backyard and they can hear it. It will make a little noise when you hit the ball hard, as opposed to 150, 200, 300 people that want to play pickleball. So you guys should make a decision based on the majority. I think that's what you should consider seriously. That's all I got to say about that.
Our next speaker is Pam Zena at 12646 Brass Lantern Lane.
First off, I would like to thank the board and the Parks and Recreation Department for giving me this opportunity to me to talk here to help get a resolution to this problem. Brass Lantern is not upset with the sport of pickleball, and we are not upset with the pickleball community. You need to understand that. What we know is there's a problem nationwide with the courts and the residential areas. What happens here is when these strikes of the balls hit the paddles, it gets on our nerves, and the enthusiasm of the players is a little loud in our backyard. Brass Lantern was built prior to this phase of the park. On the original plans for McPhee Park expansion, the tennis courts, not in pickleball, the tennis courts were not to be located in that area. Now these courts are located in a corner with the 2 hills. What happens with the sound is it literally bounces off those hills and comes into our backyards. It's much louder up the hill than it is at the same level as to what you're playing. 7,000 strikes an hour can happen on those courts when they're all full. Think of 7,000 hits of that ball and what that sounds like up there. The stress from this noise affects people mentally and physically. We are not the people who moved in after the courts were built. This was not supposed to be where they are. The strike of the players, when they hear that ball hitting that paddle, their adrenaline is going. They're in the zone. They're anticipating that next hit. What we hear gets my blood pressure up, gives me a headache, gives me anxiety. This makes it impossible to read a book in my backyard, garden, stream a football game, or even have a family barbecue. I've had contractors at my house saying, "This is very annoying what you deal with back here." Yes, it is. We've planted 14 trees in our yard to no avail of helping this situation. Thwack can be heard in our homes unless our television is on. Our bathrooms are in the middle of a brick house, and I can hear certain strikes of that ball in my bathroom. I have coffee in the morning, thwack. I have a glass of wine at night, thwack. If I'm sick or I want to sleep in, I can't because it's thwack. I can't sleep. It makes it impossible. This mentally and physically affects people. And if you look up and research on the internet the effects of noise in pickleball, there's a lot of articles out there for you to listen to. This is just a for instance of my morning. It's probably one of you guys. Trying to have my coffee. This is a glass of wine at night. This is my backyard every night. Imagine that, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week in your backyard. You guys come and play a game and go home to your backyards that are probably quiet. I have to wait for the next group of cars to come to hear that sound again. This is our home, okay? You guys are playing a game for a couple hours. This is where we live. People ask me, why don't I move? Dave and I were actually looking into moving. And then we found out from a realtor that we've lost at least $50,000 of the value of our house because of the pickleball courts behind us. This has to stop for all the reasons I've mentioned up above. Don't we have a right to have quiet in our backyards? This is not my idea of retirement. And the reason why the afternoons in the summertime are not so active, it's because it's a 95-degree day. I'm not even in my pool in the backyard on a 95-degree day. I wait till 4 or 5 o'clock to come out, just like you guys. So that's why the courts are open in the afternoon. It rains. They're there within 15 minutes of the rain stopping with their blowers, with their squeegees to get the water off the courts. We get no break at all, even after rain. It's a proven fact that this sound affects you in your brain, and there's a lot of research to come. And my
Thank you,
time
Ms.
is up.
Zena.
Next speaker is Carlos Revez, 1228 Ainsley Court.
My name is Carlos Revez, and I live at 12228 Ansley Court, Andover Place. A lot of stuff that I wanted to say, we don't want to be redundant, right? But so what I want to talk about here is what the benefits of pickleball, okay? And I keep hearing how it benefits all the older people and everything, and it does tremendously. But I also want to encourage anybody to go out and watch and see how many families of young kids are out there coming and playing and enjoying that sport of pickleball. It's not just about the older. It's not just about the older gentlemen and ladies out there. The kids that are coming out there, that are getting off the couch, that are getting off the little tweeting things, and they're getting off these video games and everything. All my life I've been a fitness person. Okay, so I don't have that problem, thankfully. But we are one of the most obese countries in the world. I'll say it. Okay. And now we have this new sport that is coming out that is introducing a lot of people to it, and it mainly is because, as we mentioned, it doesn't cost very much. You don't have to be very athletic to play the sport, okay? You have instant gratification, and that's why it's bringing masses to this thing. This is not a thing that's going to go away tomorrow, the next day. Just look around everywhere. Okay? It's just continued. And what I think needs to happen is, let's not make these decisions that are going to be permanent. Let's talk about temporary decisions. What can we do right now until other things can become permanent? Can we now plant some trees, make things like that, to buffer some of that noise? What about, and then start thinking about, what about the permanent solution? This sport is not going to go away. It's becoming more and more and more popular, as everybody keeps saying. And again, it's introducing young people. I don't consider myself young. Okay, it's bringing in young people in here, and you know what? I'd rather have these kids and everybody on these courts playing and than maybe going out and doing who knows what, drugs, whatever you want to say they might be doing out there. Let's be proactive. Let's think about building more courts. If you look across the country, courts are being built, okay, to accommodate everybody. Somebody already said it. Maybe we didn't put those courts in the right place. Okay, but what are we going to do about that? I think we have some more land in the back, right? That maybe some courts can be put over there so you can meet that need for everybody else. What about Watt Road? Is there some land at Watt Road that we can put some courts out there? We're Farragut. I've been in Farragut 20 years, love my town, okay? Let's make this happen. Let's not just sit there and say, nope, we're going to cut it off because 5 people are being affected. What about the other hundreds of people that we're talking about here? And this has nothing to do with the people that are not even here that are represented. You go out there, and I'm telling you, there's people coming from all over the place. And they're coming out there, you meet people, you engage. It's just the most amazing thing, okay? My wife is one of them that I'm very proud of her that she even came up here to speak. And I really believe that she's gotten that confidence because we've been playing pickleball, and it's just the confidence it brings out in her. So it goes beyond that. Now, that's the physical part. What about the mental part of all these people that are out there? You know, it brings them out of the house. There's nothing more healthier for your mind and your body and your everything else than get out there and exercise. I've heard some people say, my wife being one of them, wow, I was out there playing an hour and a half, quote, exercising. I didn't even realize I was exercising. I was having so much fun. Okay, so let's talk about the temporary solutions as well as the permanent solutions. But let's not just say no, it's going to stop here. There's other subdivisions that are across here at Farragut that have pickleball courts. Okay, those houses are on top of these pickleball courts. What are they doing about it? They've planted things around them to buffer the noise and everything. To the lady who was just up here, I am very sorry that you're going through that. I mean that sincerely, okay? But the thing is, I'm trying to be very sensitive, okay, is when you buy next to a public park, what do you expect, right? Do you expect people not to have fun? You expect people not to laugh, not to scream, not to yell? When I moved into Andover Place, I didn't buy a house next to the pool, the community pool, because there would be screaming going on and everything. I can't sit there and buy that house and all of a sudden say, nope, that pool needs to be closed and it can only open up between this time and that time. Okay? And to say that the pickleball goes on the entire day, absolutely not. That is not a true statement. Because we've been out there many times and the courts are empty, and there's times, of course, that the courts are full. And to say that the noise is going on at 7:30, the gates don't even open it that early. So let's just call it like it is. Thank you so much for your time, for listening to me.
Next speaker is Bernie Cutlip at one. Oh. Okay. Thank you. Our next one is Becky Hofseth at 911 Heathgate.
Hi, my name's Becky Hofseth, and 911 Heathgate Road. Well, it seems we found ourselves in a pickle, pun intended. We need a little levity here tonight, I could tell. Where the understandable concerns of several neighbors are juxtaposed against an entire community who has been enjoying the exercise and connection from the nation's now #1 source of recreation. I've been on a lot of pickleball courts, both locally and across the nation, and in my humble opinion, there is no finer place to play than McPhee Park. It is beautiful, the courts are in perfect condition, And who doesn't want to hang out in Farragut, Tennessee? The need for more courts is increasing exponentially, and not surprisingly, as was discussed tonight. My husband and I play with our peers, college students, our own grandchildren who are still hoping they could beat us one day. Speaking of the next generation, just last weekend, as was mentioned, I think it's important to note that Knox County had an event that every PE teacher was taught how to teach pickleball, which is phenomenal. Several weeks ago, I spoke to the organizer of a youth pickleball tournament who had reserved every McPhee court, and he explained how pickleball is such a good way for kids to get out and get exercise. I actually, in my previous life, before I retired, I was in the fitness and wellness industry and worked with the childhood obesity program. We are now at 1/3 of the children in America are considered obese. And so if we can find a sport that will help children who are, there's a record amount of depression, obesity, and then of course, screen addiction. If we can create an addiction for pickleball, like we all have, that is a win for our kids. I don't think anyone, including the local homeowners, are challenging the benefits of pickleball. And I do think that everyone in this room can understand their frustration. My husband and I were invited into one of their backyards to hear the sounds from below and to listen to their perspective. We understand that their stated desire for a quiet spa-like backyard has been forever thwarted by basketballs bouncing and pickleball pinging and all the accompanying sounds of laughter and shouts. And as we stood there hearing their perspective, I couldn't help but reflect on our own experience as homeowners. When living in Alaska, we built a home on 3 acres, and there was not a neighbor in sight, and we experienced peace and quiet. When we moved to a neighborhood in San Diego, we looked forward to enjoying our little backyard resort with our own pool, and found that peace and quiet was elusive. We had 2 little yapper dogs on one side, and then we had weekly loud parties on the other. It was not what we signed up for, but such as it was when you move into a neighborhood. There are no guarantees beyond your property line, and certainly not when your neighborhood is directly adjacent to a community park. It seems the pressing question before you all tonight is whether a limited number of residents can or should dictate a decision, or what is best for the community at large. Limiting or denying complete access is a big step backwards for our community, and clearly was not the intent of the aldermen who allocated funds to create these 8 high, top-notch courts. One thing we all know is you can't please all the people all the time, but we can surely try. I am hopeful there will be a happy solution both for the neighbors and the community at large. While forward-looking options are explored, noise canceling earphones are a good in the meantime option. And I know this because I use them in our own little backyard paradise. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration tonight.
Our next speaker is Dana Hofseth at 911 Heathgate.
So much has already been said, so I will eliminate much of what I was going to share and make it just my own personal experience. My wife and I moved here 15 months ago and knew absolutely nobody. We began looking for a church, and we began to play this cool game called pickleball. We certainly have made good friends at church, but frankly, the majority of our friendships have been developed on the pickleball courts. Yes. It's a social gathering, an exercise bonanza, and such a wonderful intergenerational interaction. A recent study found that fitness, socialization, and the sense of community as the most important reasons why pickleball is so addictive and different than other sports. It also showed that depression symptoms are 60% lower among frequent pickleball players, and that's not surprising at all to those of us who play regularly. I think I'll end there, for everything else has already been shared about the growing, the increase, the need, the demand, and just encourage your thoughtfulness. Thank you.
The next speaker is Craig Smith at 12651 Brass Lantern.
What was the name again?
Craig Smith.
Craig Smith.
Good evening. Craig Smith, 12651 Brass Lantern Lane. I'm not going to talk about pickleball. Okay? I want to start out by thanking the mayor and the board members for their service. I know it's often contentious, sometimes thankless, but I do thank you. I hope the whole community thanks you. What I want to talk about is greenways. So Tuesday night I was riding my bicycle on a greenway behind the primary school, Farragut Primary, and I encountered 4 youths on motorcycles, much to my dismay, riding just as fast and as hard as they could go. And I had just passed through quite a few people who, mothers walking their children home from school, senior citizens like myself, and just people out in the, it's been very nice weather, so everybody was out. And I just imagined those 4 motorcycles barreling through all of those people. I don't know what happened, how many of them ended up frightened. I'm sure they were frightened. I was frightened, and I'm pretty athletic myself. So I do live in Brass Lantern, and there are 2 signs that say no motorized vehicles. One is where where the greenway crosses Allen Kirby into Bridgemore, and one's over in Price Farm. And those are the only 2 signs I've ever seen that say no motorized vehicles. So I've also seen golf carts on the greenways. So those signs do, of course, have the attendant exception for handicapped people. But I've encountered people in golf carts who say, well, this is their handicapped vehicle. And so there's just no signage, there's not enough signage, there's not enough public awareness of what. So if motorcycles are illegal on the greenway, I'm going to get a motorcycle too. So I think, so Mayor, could you comment on the legality of motorcycles on the greenways?
They're not legal, no.
Okay. Would the town consider improving the signage related to what the legality or illegality of motorized vehicles?
Yeah, we're here taking notes tonight for that reason, okay?
Well, that's all I had to say. It was disturbing. I know there was a thread on Nextdoor a few months ago on this topic, but I don't know that it was brought to your attention. So I'm bringing it to your attention tonight.
Thank you.
And thank you again for your service. I know it's hard sometimes, all the time.
Our next speaker is Cynthia Smith, 12651 Brass Lantern.
Cynthia Smith, 12651 Brass Lantern Lane. And my first topic, I got 2 things I want to say. The first is not about pickleball. So at the June 8th BOMA meeting, there was an approval of a professional service agreement with Cannon & Cannon for the design of crossings at McPhee and Grigsby Chapel Road, mid-block crossings. What's the status of that? And is there any plan within the next fiscal year to put those crossings in?
Cynthia, can you finish what you're saying? We can get back to you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And then the second thing I had is, as far as the pickleball is concerned, I think everybody needs a break, including the people in my neighborhood who are affected by it. And many neighborhoods across the country have put in days of the week for pickleball, days of the week for no pickleball. And I think that would probably be the best solution to at least give some of the folks in my neighborhood some peace and quiet and continue to allow the pickleballers to do their thing on all the courts, at least some of the days of the week. That's all I have to say.
And our last speaker is George Ellis, 12650 Brass Lantern.
Just give those to Scott, he can pass them down.
First off, my name is George Ellis. I live at 12650 Brass Lantern Lane in Farragut. And I have to commend the people that came out from McPhee area, and also I'm going to commend the people that like to play pickleball. I kind of sitting back there admiring your passion. And I'm going to say some things in this little thing I wrote over the last couple of days that the pickleballers may think that I'm trying to throw you under the bus. I'm not. Be patient and listen to the end, if you would, please. I'm speaking tonight as a resident living close to the McPhee tennis courts, pickleball courts. To use the board's time to go over the problems with park noise is to be repetitive. Residents have been stepping up to this microphone since at least 2020, when Donna Martin brought up the issues of noise, etc. Our houses were in, and I looked out my house one day, and they were putting in a tennis court, I thought. And my house was the last one to be built, by the way. So these issues have gone on, but the town has stepped up to the plate and helped McPhee residents with park issues in the past. We're very grateful for this. We're very grateful to Parks and Rec and Mr. Ostrich for being prompt when we've had some issues. But it's time to go to bat again. I've just handed out copies of just one ongoing example of a pickleball noise lawsuit, one out of hundreds. This one was from California, but one of many filed this year across the country. Also, you have the copy of the Knox County Noise Ordinance. In paragraph 1201, paragraph 1 on, it kind of gives you an example. An example of the noise of pickleball parallels the noise types emanating from the courts in question. So that noise is specifically addressed. Also included are reports of recent real estate investment value depreciation tables from the news and real estate sources, where it states as an example that homes across the street from a pickleball court can expect a drop in valuation of 20%. But the example of the one ongoing case in Carlsbad, note that the plaintiff is seeking over $300,000 in damages due to home value loss, but also mental anguish. A result of another recent suit was that home sellers had to state nearby noise issues from pickleball when they went to list their house on the disclosure documents. If the plaintiff prevails against the defendants, and back in the day, I used to love reading my dad's law books. It was mostly English common law. But what generally happens, the defendants, in this case, it being the town, if they're sued and the plaintiff is successful, the town can then use recourse and sue the players for reimbursement of the town's losses. All this does is to pile up hefty costs and pits neighbor against the other. I'll admit, I'm no lawyer. And I found this all interesting, but fortunately for all, we have capable counsel here with Mr. Hale for the town. And I think he'd agree that U.S. law that derives from the 1800s and that came from there, from France, into English common law, the tort feasor law is extremely interesting, where more than one party is involved has the uncanny ability to dig its hooks in and stick. So in other words, when a party is being sued in conjunction with another party, they both get to pay up. It's a lovely thing. It's been around for hundreds of years, and it's well proven. Now I'll circle back here. With all that being said, let's rein this in. Do we want to sue? Some see this as a last resort. Personally, I hope and believe we do not have to. We have already had one civil battle, the Civil War, not far from this town hall years ago, and we certainly don't want another one. Besides that, we should not be fighting over something that has an easy solution. We're better than this. Or at least I hope we are. The McPhee courts were planned as tennis courts. I've got the original sketch. I've got the original plans. We bought our lot in Brass Lantern. It was the last lot to be used and built on. And then the courts at that time were actually positioned down by McPhee. Now we're talking about water under the bridge. Let's get over it, move on. So the courts were planned. Okay, I'll wrap this up. The town of Farragut has been busy recently buying new park space using excellent forethought and vision. The people that want to play pickleball really have the right to play it. I really think they do.
Thank you, George.
Concludes our speakers. That's all of our speakers.
Okay, well,
Can I just make a real quick comment, because I know we're going to go into session
okay, well, that's what we're fixing to do, so you want to be first?
yeah.
Okay.
That's, and I just want to make this brief. There is no doubt that there's a love for pickleball in this community, and it's exploded, and those McPhee courts are beautiful. They are gorgeous. I'm sorry. We know that they're gorgeous and that you guys are enjoying them, and that's what they're there for. That's what they were built for. But in the planning of McPhee Park, it never occurred to us the level of noise that would come, and the fact that with Brass Lantern being perched above, the noise floats up, and there's no solution for that. We can't. You can't cover the top of it. You can't put a shield over it without a lot of money spent. And I have to balance what the community would like with what we are negatively impacting Brass Lantern residents, and it's not an insignificant thing. So I hear what the pickleball players are saying, but I also would plead with you, please do not diminish the suffering of the residents who live there. It's not just 5 houses, and even if it is just 5 houses, those residents are negatively impacted in a very bad way. And I have to balance all of that. I believe the only solution is to relocate the courts to Mayor Bob Leonard. There's space there. It's by commercial. In fact, we'll have, with the grocery store coming in, there's going to be restaurants coming in there. It'll be an excellent opportunity for pickleball people to gather in a place, possibly walk over to someplace and be able to enjoy their company further. There's opportunities there to explore that we can just make those tennis courts and give the people in Brass Lantern some peace of mind. The town of Farragut is a great place because it was founded by residents, and one of their core principles when we were founded was we were going to protect existing residential from incompatible development, and that's what they got in the path of doing. That's what they wanted to do. And the noise coming off of the pickleball courts, we were not prepared for it. We did not understand it when we were planning. We as a community have to understand it is negatively impacting some of our community members. I have to think I wouldn't want that behind my house. So I can't continue to believe that it's good for people that live there. But I also acknowledge that pickleball is a big, and we may as well just have pickleball courts and have them lined for just pickleball courts. This is an opportunity to just do that. Frame is on that, but we have money allocated for additional courts that we could just reallocate to building them in Mayor Bob Leonard, and I think that's our solution.
Alderman Burnett.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I do agree a lot with what Louise said. These situations they're honestly just miserable because you know you're going to really make. Okay, I'm on.
Is your mic dead?
No, it's on.
Oh, it's on.
It's on.
It's on.
Is that any better?
Yeah.
I said I agree with some of what Louise said. These situations you lose sleep over as an alderman, and it's not fun either way because you know you're really hurting people on both sides. Where I would disagree with her is to say there's not options. We are a people, a board that solves problems. We solve problems with your all's input. We solve problems when we meet and have meetings, throughout the month. We meet with town staff and we solve problems. I just cannot disagree more that this is just a problem we don't even want to try to solve. Because I think we owe it to the residents that moved in after the park, we owe it to them to try and solve that problem. We also owe it to the pickleball community to look at these options. We're already doing that. We do that at the Parks and Rec Board. We did it last month. We're going to be talking about it again next week and looking at options, because it's not just here, right? It's everywhere. You know, there is a big advantage when you look across the town of Farragut at the HOAs that all have pickleball. All of them have pickleball. If they have tennis, they have pickleball. There's a huge advantage those places have over McPhee Park. It's that they were tennis courts for 10 to 30 years. What does that mean? What's around every tennis court and every HOA? Huge trees that have been planted there for decades and decades. I think trees are part of a short-term solution. Louise kind of hit on it. There's short-term solutions and there's long-term solutions. I believe what she said can be a good long-term solution. Whether it be Watt Road, whether it be at the Great Lawn, which is at the back of McPhee Park. But again, from the Parks and Rec board side, we are looking at short-term and long-term solutions. That's where all of these issues are heard, discussed, diced, argued about. You know, iron sharpens iron. We don't always get along and have the same opinion, but we come out stronger, and we do that at the Parks and Rec board. That's where all these issues are discussed. They haven't been discussed up here. So opinions you're hearing, you need to come to that board to hear what's going on, and that board makes a recommendation to this board, and this board has the ability to follow it or not. But if you want to know the down and dirty and the options that are being presented, the issues that are being presented, because there are issues there, those are all being presented at the Parks and Rec board. They're on Tuesday nights. We'll be there. I'm not calling for people to come and, you know, and do this and that at the meetings, but you got to know that's where these discussions are happening, and I just, we cannot say there's no options.
Alderman Meyer.
All I have to say is all this talk about pickleball and exercise makes me feel very fat at the moment. So I appreciate that. And my wife would appreciate that too. So I really like the vice mayor's idea of moving the courts and expanding the number. I'd like to expand the number over at Mayor Leonard Park, and I think that we can do that sooner rather than later. And I think that's probably the best solution. I would appreciate both parties coming to a compromise that is going to be probably inconvenient for both parties, but at the same time be convenient for everyone's goals. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Alderman White.
Thank you, Mayor. By the way, this has nothing to do with rezoning. This is about pickleball. I fully understand y'all love your pickleball. But I stand by my statement, and my statement was specific. This problem at McPhee Park, some problems are not fixable. Trees will not fix that. Moving the court will not fix that. That doesn't mean that there's not other options. There's always another option, and that's what we're looking for. But these people that live over there have to live in misery for your all's enjoyment. And that's all I'm saying. Someday there'll be a solution. There's a lot of smart people up here. There's a lot of smart people work for this town. And they'll figure out something, and it very well may be moving to a different location. And I think that's probably what it's going to be to actually solve it. So it won't be forever taking your precious pickleball. I see all the good options for it, and y'all really believe in it. And I think, you know, continue to do it. If you love it, do it. But think about other people too. There's other people in the world that have to live and have to have a quality of life. And if your enjoyment is interfering with that, then we got to fix it. And we'll fix it. But I don't think we're going to fix it over there. I think you just need to be patient and play when you can under the rules and enjoy it, and for all the reasons you've given, but be patient, because this rec committee, this board, this administration will come up with a fix. Well, we'll have a place for you to play pickleball, but hopefully it won't be where it disturbs other people. Thank you for coming and expressing yourself. We appreciate it and it helps.
Okay, Alderman White, I appreciate it. I've took a lot of notes tonight, and at this moment, I'm going to ask our town administrator to give us an update on the Grigsby Chapel crossing that Cynthia Smith asked about. So,
McPhee Road.
I think she both is what.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We're currently under design. I think we're kind of in final design phases right now. The consultant's been working on. So we hope in the next month or 6 weeks that we'll have something back to be able to present and at least have some discussions about location, timing, things like that. So we're getting much closer on the final design plan for that project.
Okay, that will conclude our citizens' comments tonight, and we will go to town administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. This is one of my favorite times of year, and we have a lot of great events coming up here toward the end of the season. To get celebrated in the season, we have our Light the Park event November 20th. Hopefully, everybody that's here will be able to come to that. It's 5:30 over at Founders Park on Campbell Station Road. Our Public Works Department has been working very hard and getting everything prepared, and hopefully when you drive by that night and the next 6 weeks after that, it'll be a very festive atmosphere. We also have our Celebrate the Season event at our community center November the 30th at 4:30, and that'll be for a couple hours from 4:30 to 6:30. And then Town Hall will be closed Thanksgiving holidays on the Thursday and Friday of the holiday season. So with that, Mayor, I have nothing else to report.
Okay, sir, I sure thank you. And next will be town attorney's report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask the board if they would go into executive session with me so I can advise them about a matter involving some litigation.
Okay, we will be now excused, and that will be all of us. Okay. Okay, the time is approximately 8 p.m. and we will return to session. And without objection, the November 9th, 20...
Let me make
Okay,
one comment.
okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Just to be clear, we went into an executive session so that I could advise the board about litigation matter that we've learned about since our last meeting. We spent the time, me explaining generally about litigation and executive sessions and what can and can't be done in there. And we didn't, there wasn't any reason to deliberate. There wasn't anything to deliberate, so there wasn't any deliberations. I was informing the board about litigation matter that has arisen, and really the board didn't have many questions, if any. So it was mainly me explaining the situation from a legal standpoint. So and that's all my report for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, the time is still approximately 8 p.m. Without objection, November 9th, 2023, Farragut Board of Mayor and Alderman is now adjourned.